Southern rockers have given us some of the most memorable guitar moments of the last several decades. The awesome mixture of country, blues, and rock that morphs into what we think of as a Southern rock style not only sounds great, but it's a lot of fun to play. In this video, I'm going to give you the tools to get started on a guitar journey down south. So get loud, get down, and gather round. Southern rock. Just the name conjures up summertime anthems that have graced the classic rock airwaves for the last 50 years. Southern rock is a potent musical gumbo, a rich stew of riffage, combining influences from rock, blues, country, bluegrass, and more than a pinch of sweet Southern gospel music thrown in for good measure. The music is raw, real, good time music, with lots of great riffs, beats, and harmonies. As I mentioned before, there are lots of influences that are recognizable in Southern rock solos. There are also some tools that seem to pop up again and again. I'm not going to call them cliches because that word seems to have a negative connotation. But you will hear the following techniques over and over in this music. The major and minor pentatonic scale, often with the fourth added to the major pentatonic scale, and the major and minor blues scale. Unison bends, pedal steel licks, and fast repeating phrases that incorporate hammer-ons and pull-offs. We're going to work through 5 licks that incorporate all those techniques so you can get that under your fingers and you can take that ball and run with it and be a Southern rock wizard in no time. All of our examples are in the key of G major, and we're going to be playing over a backing track that goes from the 1 chord to the 4 chord in G, so just G to C. We're only going to be using one scale, and that's G major pentatonic, and we're only going to be using 2 positions. Hopefully, this is going to be a great lesson in how much mileage you can get from a fairly limited amount of information. Let's go get us some licks. Lick number 1 is all about unison bends. A unison bend is a technique where we're going to bend a note on a string up to match a pitch on the next higher string. For this lick, we're going to be playing G major pentatonic position 5 at the 12th fret. So we're going to be bending the A note at the 14th fret of the G string up a whole step to match the B note at the 12th fret of the B string. We're also going to be bending the D note at the 15th fret of the B string up to match the E note at the 12th fret of the E string. A really great thing about this technique is that you can introduce so many different variations. For instance, you could bend the note very quickly so you get the notes up to unison almost immediately. Something like this. It gives the note a lot of punch, a lot of power. I remember hearing Greengrass and High Tides when I was a kid. The solo right after the first verse starts with those 3 unison bends. Bam, bam, bam. And it made a real impression. Adding some vibrato to the note that you're bending is another great sound. You can hear the notes kind of warble a little bit as they go in and out of tune. You could make your bends more slowly, and you could re-articulate the notes multiple times. Another great sound. It's all up to you. It's all what you feel fits the mood, what you're trying to create in your solo. For our lick today, we're going to use another variation, and we're going to play the notes separately. We're going to start the lick off by playing the B note at the 12th fret of the B string, and then bending the A note at the 14th fret of the G string up to match it. We're going to play that original pair of notes 3 times. Then we're going to play the D note at the 15th fret of the B string into our bent A note. Then we're going to play the original pair and release the bend down to the A note, finish it on our G note at the 12th fret of the G string. We're going to shift over to the B and E strings, basically play the lick, but now we're going to bend the 15th fret of the B string, that D note up to E. And of course, we're going to be grabbing that G note at the 15th fret of the E string. We're going to finish off the lick with a bluesy little figure on the G and D strings. Put it all together, play it slow. That's lick number 1. Here it is, up to speed over our backing track. In the lick number 2, we've got multiple pedal steel bends, and it really reflects the country influence in Southern rock. We're going to start the lick off by playing the G and D notes on the high E and B strings. We're going to grab those with our pinky, and then we're going to simultaneously bend up the A note on the 14th fret of the G string a whole step to B. If you haven't done much of this type of bending, you're going to need to practice, 1, to make sure that your bend is in tune, and then 2, to make sure that the notes that you want to keep ringing until you cut them off. We're going to release that bend down to the A note and then pull off to G, and then play a little bluesy figure. Then we go into our unison bend that we did in our first lick. So we've got 3 E notes in a row. Here comes our second pedal steel bend. We're going to grab the G note at the 15th fret of the E string while we've got the D note at the 15th fret of the B string bent up to E. We let off the bend, go down to the B note at the 12th fret of the B string. Here comes our third pedal steel bend. I've got my pinky on the 15th fret of the B string. I'm going to bend that A note at the 14th fret of the G string back up to B. I'm going to let off the bend and end up at the G note at the 12th fret of the G string. Put the whole thing together slowly. It sounds like this. Can't emphasize enough, if you haven't done that kind of bending, it's going to take some time before you get your fingers coordinated, you have all the right notes ringing out, and you get your bends in tune. Here it is, up to speed with our backing track. Lick number 3 I call the repeater. Now there are fast repeating hammer-on pull-off licks all over the place in Southern rock. Greengrass and High Tides and Sweet Home Alabama are a couple of songs that come to mind immediately. One of the cool things about this lick is it's actually much easier than it sounds, especially when you get it up to speed. There are 2 tricks to this, really, if you will. One is a little sweeping motion, and the other is being able to really snap your pull-offs so you can articulate them properly. It goes like this. We're going to start off by playing the D note at the 15th fret of the B string. We're going to bend it up a whole step, and we're going to pick it with a downstroke. Now here comes the trick part of the lick. We're going to play the E note at the 12th fret of the E string. We're going to have released the bend on the D note of the B string, and we're going to hit those 2 notes with an upward sweep. And then we're going to pull off the D note down to the B at the 12th fret. You've probably heard that lick a million times. Now, we're going to repeat it, hence the name, the repeater. So the real trick is we've got 4 notes, we're only making 2 picking motions. We've got our initial downstroke, we've got our upward sweep where we get the next 2 notes, then we pull off to the 4th note. We repeat that. After our repeating lick, we're going to play B flat, A, and G on the 15th, 14th, and 12th frets of the G string. Then we're going to play E on the D string, back to G. We're going to bend our A string up to B. Then we're going to play B, E, and B at the 12th fret of the B and E strings. The whole lick, we put it together slowly, sounds like this. And then, guess what? We repeat it. And we could keep repeating that ad nauseum, but we're going to cut it off there. We're going to do our unison bend with our E and our D at the 15th fret of the B string. Then we're going to release that bent D note back down to D. Again, the whole thing slowly. Here it is, up to speed, over our backing track. Lick number 4, we're going to call the Richard. We're going to pay our respects to Mr. Betts, one of the originators of the genre. He has a signature lick that to me sounds like a fiddle lick, which makes sense. As a kid, he grew up listening to a lot of bluegrass music. This is another lick that you can alter and repeat as long as you think it sounds good to keep it going. We're going to keep it short in today's lick. We're going to start off by playing D and E at the 15th and 17th frets of the B string. We're going to play G at the 15th fret of the E string. Then we're going to play our E again, and then G again, back to E. There's the signature lick. After our initial 6 notes, we're going to play D, E, G, E, D, B. Then we're going to slide to the A at the 14th fret of the G string. We can play G at the 12th fret. Then we're going to play A at the 14th fret, and then E at the 14th fret of the D string. That is the first part of the lick. We're going to finish up the lick with another Dickie Betts signature lick, which is going through the G major pentatonic scale, but adding the 4th note, or C, to it. So I played G, A, B, C, B, A, G, A, and then I'm going to slide from the 12th fret of the D string up to the E at the 14th fret, and end the lick by sliding back down. Putting it all together, it sounds like this. Here it is, up to speed, over our backing track. Lick number 5, we're going to combine our repeater lick from number 3 with an ascending blues scale run that's going to end up with a nice emotive bend. That blues scale run is actually going to cover 2 pentatonic positions, so there's a little shift there, which is kind of cool also. We're going to start off with our repeater. Now we're going to come out of it a little differently than we did before. Here it is again. The second half of the lick, here's our ascending 16th note blues scale run. We're going to start off, our first four notes are G, A, B flat, and B. That's frets 12, 14, 15 on the G string, 12 on the B string. Next four notes are D, B flat, B, D. So we've got 15 on the B string, 15 on the G string, 12 on the B string, back to 15 on the B string. Our next four notes, we've got E at the 12th fret of the E string, we've got G at the 15th fret of the E string, we go over to D at the 15th fret of the B string. Now here's where our slide comes in. We're going to slide from the D to the E at the 17th fret. So far we've got now we're going to play G, A, G, and then we're going to take that A and we're going to bend it up a whole step to B. And it's nice if you can re-articulate it and give it a little bent note vibrato. Here's the whole second half of the lick. Putting the whole thing together. Might be really helpful to think of it as two separate licks that you're smushing together. If you think about it as two separate licks, that'll give you two different licks to play in different situations. Or if you feel like playing a longer line, you can put the whole thing together. Here's the whole thing up to speed over our backing track. I really hope you enjoyed our little Southern excursion. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. You keep practicing. I'm going to keep making content that's going to help you make sense of soloing. Thanks. See you soon.